we can start the clock. So the theme of my talk is the importance of diverse advocates, mentors, and role models to get us through the hard times in life, like being a woman in tech. So I'm going to tell my story, and it starts with my first advocates, who were my parents. Yay, parents. They got me girl toys and boy toys. Didn't matter. I got to play with it all, and they told me I could do whatever I wanted as long as I was willing to work hard. So I did. And in high school, my chemistry teacher suggested I take AP Physics. He was like, I think you'll really like it. So I tried it, and it clicked, and I really loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, we can use math to predict the future and probe all the mysteries of the universe, and I can figure out how I'm different from this chair and maybe how I'm similar. And so after high school, I was like, yes, physics! So I studied physics in college. I went to Occidental College. And in my sophomore year, I got an email from our introductory professor. He asked me to meet with him after class. So I was walking to the physics building with some of my peers, and for the first time in my life, they made me feel extremely weird and uncomfortable for being a woman interested in science. They made a lot of insinuating comments about how I was a young, attractive woman, and that's why the professor wanted to meet with me. So I walked into that meeting feeling super nervous and uncomfortable, and he says, "You're the top of the class. I want to offer you a research position." So I breathed a huge sigh of relief, like, oh, thank you. And I accepted the position, and he was like, all right, I understand you might not want to do research with me your whole time here, so I'll facilitate an introduction. And I was like, I want to work in the dark matter lab. So that's what I did my summers, full time. I worked as a dark matter experimentalist, and that I was on track to be a cosmologist, mixed between particle and astrophysics, and I still really love it, but the summer before my senior year, where I had to figure out the rest of my life, the BP oil spill happened, and I was super obsessed and really frustrated, and I realized that I needed to contribute to helping to solve problems related to social and environmental justice. So I decided to switch to engineering. I went to UCLA's mechanical engineering program, and while I was there, I was volunteering with a nonprofit in Inglewood dedicated to health and social equity. And so I combined my love of solving problems in engineering with nonprofit work and designed and built a soil moisture sensor that controls an irrigation system. And my advisor, Dr. Adrian Levine, was super instrumental throughout that process. But this whole time, my peers kept pointing out that it was weird that I was a woman in science, and I was looking around, and I was like, yeah, wait, where are all the ladies at? Or where are all the, gender non-conforming people? And the more that it was pointed out to me, the more I was like, wait, there's only 2 female professors at UCLA's Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Department. That's 3%. To their credit, they now have 7. That's still only 13%. There's about 60 professors in this department, and that's about the rate of which female graduates graduate with engineering, physics, and computer science degrees. So it's pretty dismal. And then now that I started feeling weird, onward to industry, where it just got weirder. My first boss, he told me that because I was a young, attractive woman, I needed to dress conservatively in order for men to take me seriously. I had my peers tell me that I should be an escort instead of an engineer because I could make a lot of money. This was after 6+ years and 2 degrees, spending my time and energy studying these things because I loved them, only for my colleagues to value my body over my brain. And that was the problem. And eventually, enough people start telling you these things. They're your peers, they're your colleagues, they're the people that are supposed to be helping you and teaching you, and they're diminishing you with a single sentence. I was used to being different. I was a punk kid that made all my clothes in high school. There weren't that many of us. But this was a whole nother level. This was being an outsider and being called out for being an outsider continuously and regularly every single day. And I internalized it, and I got really depressed for a very long time. And it wasn't until I found the maker movement, and I met folks like Steve Davey, who reminded me that there are kind people out there, that there are passionate people out there, and there are men and women who will hold doors open and give you opportunities because you care about what you're doing and you're enthusiastic. So that's what I started doing. I started building projects as a way to regain my confidence and find my voice, because I could point to the things that I made and said, I built that, I coded that, I figured out how to do that whole thing with no one else's help, and there it is. I exist in this space. You cannot deny me. And that's what I realized I needed to do with my company. I want to be an advocate, a role model, and a mentor for other folks to make it easier for everybody, because we should all be able to just do the things we want to do without feeling weird about it. So, too long, okay, it's only 5 minutes, but basically, be yourself, trust yourself. Find role models that are authentically themselves. There's 2 of my role models, Lamore Freed of Adafruit and Tony Robinson of Stilettos and Screwdrivers. And also, just as importantly, surround yourself with people that accept you and empower you, and don't question your interests or don't question your motives. All right, I think I made it under 5 minutes. Cool. So yeah, if you want to go to my website, there's a website. I'm pretty active on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. You're welcome to follow me or hit me up if you have projects you want to build, or I'm still growing, but if you want to get involved, please shoot me an email. Cool, questions? Oh, no one has questions, cool. Yeah.
What do you make the most? What do you enjoy making the most?
Ooh, that's a good one. In all honesty, it's one of those things where like, you follow your passion and then you start getting paid for your passion. So mostly the things that I build are for clients. One of the things I made recently that was just like silly and awesome was a Minecraft gesture controller. So I'm always trying to find ways to make technology fun and interesting and to show people that you don't have to just do these traditional tech jobs. There are engineers that get paid to design Legos. Like one of my clients, I got paid to go and do R&D at a playground. I'm not kidding. Like, it's amazing. And so, yeah, a lot of times when I get the opportunity to build projects that are just for fun, like that one, it's really cool to see where folks take it. I build mostly stuff with electronics, microcontrollers, that sort of stuff. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
What's your clientele like? Who asks for your help?
So the 3 main things that my company does are open source project tutorials and videos, curriculum, and workshops. And so I teach workshops at a variety of different locations around the city of Seattle, including the Living Computers Museum and Labs. I just did an event with KEXP this past weekend. It was super fun. What? Because I've gotten so busy, I have brought on a really awesome woman to help me teach workshops, and so she does a lot of my introductory workshops, like at artist collectives in Ballard and things like that. I just am getting workshops at the King County Library System. They opened a new makerspace in their Bellevue Library. So I'm also working with Microsoft. I have a client on the East Coast. We're developing play spaces for kids, and I'm helping to create content. So yeah, within those 3 things, but the clientele is all over the board. One more question. Yeah.
What's your vision? Are you a design studio, a maker studio, or do you want to bring this to youth worldwide?
So that's a big question. Yes to all of them. So one of the things I'm working on with a lovely group of folks called Makerologists, or we call ourselves Makerologists. We have a makerspace and impact hub up on the 3rd floor. So our goal is to bring a community space to the public where folks of all ages and backgrounds can come in and feel comfortable. That is kind of our long-term vision. We're working on it slowly and together. Honestly, my goal is to just make STEM fun, interesting, and accessible, and to let people know that you don't have to go into a career in STEM to do STEM. Artists are really pushing boundaries with technology. I work with some folks doing projection mapping and VR and stuff like that, and it just blows my mind what they're doing with this stuff. And me in the tech field, I didn't know about it until I was working with them directly. So really just bringing this type of stuff to the public. I like to joke that like my vision is like Bill Nye cross Mr. Rogers. So something like that. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you very much, everybody.